We visit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome.
Welcome to the museum.
Thank
As our curator.
Thank you. Walk over. Oh, there's a young shit. We don't go because
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we have about 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay. So okay. So please let's. Your Excellency, you're welcome to Manhyia Palace Museum.
you, sir.
Yes, my name is Brobe. We have these two drums, talking drums, means of communication. Several years ago, there were no telephones, no radio, so these were used to communicate messages of the king to the people. And Your Excellency, we have this, the palanquin, means of transport. There were no cars. The king had to be carried to another, from one place to another. So Asante devised this, convey the king from place to place. We have a special cloth used to decorate this one. The king sits in, the legs stretched, and 4 strong men will carry the king on their shoulders. Your Excellency, whenever the king is in the palanquin, we don't speak to him verbally. We use the drums to speak to him. He understands. He acts upon the messages. Your Excellency, apart from this one for the king, we also have this special one for the queen mother. The queen sits on the chair, and she is carried by 4 strong men, 2 in front, 2 at back. With the help of this, no, this one here, the king is carried here, the queen is carried on the shoulder, on the head. So that is because the family, the clan belongs to the queen mother.
Go slowly.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you. Because they will say, Your Excellency, this is the palace of Asante Kings. It was built by the British colonial government in the year 1925 for Nana Prempeh I. Nana Prempeh I was the 13th king of Asante. He was arrested in the year 1886 to Elimina Castle, Cape Coast, then to Sierra Leone, finally to Seychelles. So in all, the king was away for 28 years. He was brought back in the year 1924, and this house was given him as a compensation. But Asante refused it, paid the full cost of the house before the king moved in. The fear was that the British could come back one day to claim ownership. So to avoid that, Asante contributed and paid the full cost of the house. 3 Asante kings lived in this house up to 1974 when a new palace was constructed. It's a story. The upstairs was used for their residence, downstairs administration. Your Excellency, we have the first colored painting of one of the Asante kings, the 14th king of Asante. This was painted by a Hungarian woman, 1950. She had come to visit the husband who was working in Kumasi, and her visit coincided with the celebration of Akosidai, that the festival. So together with the husband, they paid a visit to the king because there was no color printing.
Yes.
And being an artist by herself, she painted the king and gifted this one to the king in the year 1950. So 74 years at Manhyia. Your Excellency, let's enter. This was the office of the late kings. We have the throne, we have the old telephones, we have the bronze head of the 14th king. I'll be telling you more about him at appropriate time. We have the flag of Ghana, and we have the flag of Asante. As a nation, we have our own flag. The colors are yellow, black, and green. The yellow represents their money, rich in gold. The black, the strength of the people. The green, the fertility of the land. So together we see the rich black man in the forest. So that is the meaning of our flag. Your Excellency, on the wall at your back, we have the ancient map of Asante. That was the map of Asante before Ghana was born. Ghana is only 67 years. Asante is almost 350 years. That was the strength of Asante Empire. But today, we talk of Asante Kingdom in Ghana, not beyond Ghana. And Asante Kingdom is not only in Ashanti region. Ghana has 16 regions. Ashanti is one of them. But the kingdom of Asante travels beyond Ashanti region. It travels to 4 other states. So together make up Asante Kingdom. So we say Asante King instead of Ashanti King. But Your Excellency. Your Excellency, This place was the first living room our kings used to entertain visitors. Those who were not seen as a VIPs. That is the chair as old as this building, 1925. Your Excellency, the first television to Asante Nation, 1965. At that time, you book
that very well.
At that time, you book an appointment before you watch television because only the king had it. Yeah. It was not common, Your Excellency. Let's go. Yes. No, because we're in here. Your Excellency, so far we have 16 Asante kings and 14 Asante queen mothers since the formation of Asante Kingdom in the year 1695. He was the 14th king. Otumfuo Osei Ajiman Prempeh the second. He was king from 1931 till 1970. He was 39 years old when he was installed, and he ruled for another 39 years. So he passed on at age 78 in the year 1970. Your Excellency, that is the 12th queen mother of Asante, Nana Amase. She was queen from 1945 to 1977. Your Excellency, Asante, whenever you see the queen mother and the king, they can never be husband and wife. They can't marry. They are from the same royal family, bloodline. So anytime you see them like this, either mother and son or a brother, a sister. So that's our tradition. Yeah. Yeah. In Asante, we practice matrilineal system of inheritance. What it means is that, yeah. So when the king goes to the village, yeah. So when the king goes to the village, in our tradition, when the king dies, we don't say the king is dead. We say the king is gone to the village. When he goes to the village, it is either the brother of the late king or the sister's son that qualifies as a king, not the children. Because the children of the king are not members. Yes.
The son of the sister.
You are right. Yeah. But when it comes to the queen's side, any of the daughters qualifies as a queen mother, any of the sons qualifies as a king, because Asante practice matrilineal system of inheritance. When the king goes to the village, dies, it is the queen mother that selects a new king, and the vice versa, the king selects a new queen mother from the royal family. Your Excellency, 3 Asante kings lived in this house. He was the longest to live in this house for 39 years. For 39 years he lived in this house. He gave 39 years. For 39 years he lived in this house. He fathered 21 children with only 8 wives. That's, yeah.
28 wives?
21 children. Only 8 wives. Only 8 wives.
It's not too much for you.
Your Excellency, this room was used by the late kings to entertain dignitaries like yourself. When they came, they were served with wine, champagne, whiskey. Let me show you some crystals that were used. They were used to serve the dignitaries. And you'll be asked to pick your own glass. But the one you picked determined the drink the king offered. But you'll never be told. We have wine, champagne, whiskey. So as soon as you pick the big one, water was offered. But the small ones, the champagne, whiskey, telling you don't be greedy. So that is how the king served them. Good. Yeah. Your Excellency, this room was the dining room. The table and chairs since early 1950s. Your Excellency, we have this object on the table called a family bowl. Asante lived in the compound houses, where each compound house could accommodate between 2, 3, 4 families. During the evening's food, all the men in the same house would eat from a common bowl like this one. And this represented the men. 2 or 3 heads are better than 1. So after eating, if they had any challenges, they were to help them to sort it out. So the men will eat together, our wives will eat together, the children also eat together, telling you that we are one. Even though we don't come from the same womb, but the fact that we live in the same house, we are one. And the concept was, I am because we are. And since we are, therefore I am. So that was a nice way of living together in those times. Your Excellency, Your Excellency, the fridge is still working. 74 years this year. We've never changed the motor. We've never filled the gas. It still works today.
Ah, il n'a jamais changé. And
le gars, il n'a jamais mis le gaz, jamais changé le voiture.
it's still working.
Yes, it's still, yes, it's,
74 ans.
yeah, it's still working. Yeah.
You don't check the gas
No, the same gas in 1950. It is same gas in it
until now.
until now.
What is the secret?
The secret, in those times, they made durable, long-lasting commodities. But today, it's not like that. And also, it was a special one for the king. So maybe they specially made it for the king so that it will last long. Yeah, good. The king, the 15th king, Otumfuo Opokuware II, 1970 to 1999. And it was during his time in the year 1950, in the year 1995, that this old palace was converted into a palace museum when he was celebrating his 25 years on the throne. Your Excellency, we have the 13th Queen Mother, Nana Effiakobi-Sewampem II, from 1977 till 2016. 39 years on the throne. And she passed on at age 111. She gave birth to 5 children. 3 of them are late, remaining 2, the firstborn and the lastborn. Now the firstborn is the current Queen Mother, and the lastborn is the current king. So the king we are going to meet this afternoon is the lastborn of the Queen Mother. So that is the mother. So it was the mother in the mother in 1999 that she selected her own biological son to be the king, the system king of Asante. So that is the Queen Mother, Nana Effiakobi-Sewampem. Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Asante and the British were engaged in a series of wars. The one that Asante will never forget was fought in 1874. It's 1874, we call it Sir Garnet Worsley. He led the army from Britain to attack the Asante. And they destroyed the entire city, Kumasi, together with the palace of Asante King. And after that, they looted our resources. So, for several years, there has been a call for them to return the items, but to no avail. So, last year, during the coronation of the King Charles in UK, our current king, Otumfuo Oseidu II, after attending the coronation, he met the leadership of British Museum and the Victoria and Albert Museum to return some of the items to Asante. And thanks be to the innovation, the leadership of our king, we have some of the items back to us. So some of the items, they are 150 years. They are all pure gold. These were the ingenuity, the creativity of our forebears several years ago. So these items were looted in us.
From British.
Yeah, from British to us.
En loan. Donc, en fait, on les a donné ça, on les a prêté ça pour 50 ans.
So
50 years.
No, for 3 years.
Ah, for 3 years only.
For 3 years only.
Seulement 3 ans.
The 3 years, renewable for another 3 years. The maximum is 6 years. They are gone back. But we are hoping.
So we can discuss about
We can discuss. You are right.
for extension.
For extension. No agreement. So some of the items are also here. Some of them are here. So these are the items that were taken away some 150 years ago. But in the actual age of these items are about 250 years. But these items were being used before they were looted. So the first showcase, this one and this one, they are on loan for a maximum period of 6 years. But these ones, Your Excellency, these ones go to US. There was a businessman called Welcome, who was in UK, and before he died, he gifted some of these items to the U.S. Museum, Fowler Museum. And they also traced the origin of these items to Asante. So to them, they say, no, they don't need it. So they've returned these items to us for good.
Oh, okay.
So this item for good, but not the other ones. So these, and there's also another chair there that are for us for good.
Okay.
Your Excellency, we have this object. They were made from one piece of wood. Unity lies in strength. So Asante is united for this reason, that together we can move mountains, together we can do it. As one person cannot do it, but together we can do it. So we encourage people to work together to achieve our common goal. Your Excellency, that is one of the chairs Asante in 1874 that was taken away by the British. This got to the Fowler Museum in the US, and they have been here for good. So that is one of the chairs used by the 10th king of Asante. You are right. Your Excellency, we have the king who was arrested by the British to Seychelles for 28 years. That's the king. The king was the 13th king of Asante. He was installed in the year 1888 at age 18. And at age 26, in the year 1896, he was arrested by the British. First, he was sent to part of Ghana, Elimina Castle, for 1 year. Then 4 years in Sierra Leone. Finally, they took him to Seychelles for another 24 years. So in all, the king was away for 28 years. He was brought back in the year 1924, and this house was given him as a compensation. But Asante refused it. Your Excellency, when he was being taken to Seychelles, Asante preferred carrying him in the palanquin to walking on the ground. So you see the king in the palanquin with the umbrella on from here to Cape Coast, about 3 weeks journey. Asante said, no, we will not allow our king to walk. So they carried him in the Seychelles. Your Excellency, whilst the king was in Seychelles, in 1918, he wrote a letter to the British colonial government to bring him back to Kumasi. Your Excellency, that's the letter the king wrote in the year 1918, January 21st. See, the history of Asante is incomplete without talking about this powerful lady. She is our icon. She is our everything. She was the one who led the Asante to fight the last war against the British in the year 1900. When the king and the queen mother were taken to Seychelles, the British thought that there was no man in Asante, so now they've taken over Asante nation. So they came back in the year 1900 demanding for our gold stool. Your Excellency, that is the painting of our gold stool. This is the symbolic essence of Asante, our blood, the soul, the spirit of Asante that unites Asante people. That is a symbol of unity. Once this object is missing, that could be the end of Asante kingdom. So Asante is always ready to sacrifice their lives for this one. So that was what the British were determined to seize. But there was no man to stand the might of the British because the king had been arrested. And all the men at that time were afraid. It took the bravery of this woman, the ingenuity of this woman to say that no way, if you the men are not ready to fight, I am ready. So she was 65 years in 1900 when she stood up and said, no way, I will fight. So she organized the men, took the gun, fought the British for almost 9 months. But because the British were using sophisticated weapons, Asante were heavily defeated. But they could not take away our pride. Because this is our everything that defines who our king is, that empowers our king. So that is the gold stool that was conjured from the sky in the year 1695 when the nation of Asante was being formed. So the king, the queen mother, Nana Asantewaa, this woman at age 65 was arrested, taken to Seychelles, where she passed on in the year 1921 at age 89. This is the woman who had no formal education, who had no military training, yet he was able to stand the might of the British. So she serves as an encouragement to the youth, to the young girls today. If this woman at that age, with that formal education, was able to stand the might of the British, what are we as girls, as young ones doing? What legacy are we leaving behind when we are not there? So that is the woman that Asante is so proud of. Your Excellency, we are done upstairs here. We will go downstairs to show you the effigy and a short brief of the current king. Your Excellency, thank you very much. The effigy of the current king, Otumfuo Osei to the 16th king of Asante. He was installed in the year 1999. Now he has been on the throne for 25 years. He is 74 years. He is the Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Otumfuo's passion for education is unparalleled. He established Otumfuo Education Fund on his instrument, and it has catered for about 300,000 students across the country. It doesn't matter whether you are an Asante or the clan or the tribe that you come from, you benefit from the for the Pharisees. So that is what the king is doing. Apart from that, he also honors teachers who are teaching at the rural areas. He honored them every 2 years, give them scholarship for further studies and other things. So the king, even though he is not the president of Ghana, but he's more than the president. He does a lot of work for the nation Ghana. He does the behind the scenes work. So that is the king Otumfuo Osei to the second, the father of Asante Nation, and behind the scene president of Ghana, doing a lot for Ghana. Apart from him, you also have his sister. That is his mother. That is the firstborn of the late Queen Mother I talked to you about. Yes. So that is the firstborn.
Okay.
That is the firstborn of the late Queen Mother, and that is the lastborn of the last. Yes. But even though they are brother and a sister, but now that is the king's mother. And whenever your sister, your sister's daughter becomes the queen of Asante, she becomes the mother. So the king calls her mother. So that is she is the embodiment of wisdom. He does a lot of work. She also has his own court. Now she sits to adjudicate cases, burden of chieftaincy and land dispute. One of the major work that the king does is peace work. He's advocate for peace. He promotes peace. He gathers all his chiefs, sit with them, and adjudicate cases, burden of chieftaincy and land disputes. So that is our king Otumfuo Osei to the second, our mother Nana Amakunedu Yadom the third. Your Excellency, we are most grateful to you and your entourage for coming to Manhyia Palace Museum. Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Okay.